Welcome back, my beautiful people. Thanks for joining your dear old creepy Uncle Bannick 13 here. What I'll be talking about today, what I'll be helping you all out with, is a Crusader starter build. Now, we're in Season 14 currently, but I think this build will be viable in the future, definitely. If you're watching in the future, doesn't matter what season it is, you can definitely use this. Reason being, it requires no legendaries and definitely no set items. This is the basic of the basic. This is when you first hit level 70, you don't have Paragon points or your very minimal Paragon points. Definitely no awesome legendaries, no legendary gems, no fully leveled up gems either. Just the basic of the basic. This is when you hit 70, or if you've decided to roll a Crusader, maybe just in non-season mode. Whatever the case may be, this will definitely put you up to Torment 1 instantly, and when you first hit 70, it's very difficult to get into the Torment difficulties. Super difficult. And I'm going to explain exactly what gear I'm using, and more importantly, the skills. There's a few tricks with Thorns damage that we're doing here, that we're utilizing. Thorns damage is definitely the primary damage dealer here. For those of you that don't know, Thorns damage is actually a defensive stat. It's a defensive stat that pretty much just reflects damage that you take back to your enemies, and that's what we're going to be using here as an offensive. We're turning a defensive into an offensive, and as you can see here, Torment 1, Elites, huge dense packs, whatever the case may be, we're smashing through. And this is actually awesome for Season 14 currently now, because it'll easily transition to the Archon set. Now, when you get your 4 pieces of Archons, we will easily smash through a GR20, which will get us our Season Journey achievement, and we'll have full 6 pieces of Archons, and then we can work towards that super powerful Condemn build, which I'm using this season, and it is the absolute #1 best, strongest build for high-end GR pushing. Now, you guys have seen the gameplay. You can see that I'm smashing through Torment 1 easily. Let's go to town and talk about some of the gear and skills that we're using. Oh, I didn't see you all there. You creeped up on me. Now, look at the gear. The gear is all fully yellow, and this, I swear, is what I use to complete that Torment 1 Nephilim Rift. All yellow items. Paragon points have all been reset. As you can see, there's nothing in strength there, no offensive, defensive, utility, nothing. We're not using anything. Everything's fair. The only thing that I used was movement speed, and you definitely want to get your movement speed up to a 25% total cap, which comes from your gear and also your Paragon points. So I think I've got a pair of boots that's got like 12% movement speed, and with 13% equals 25, so we're capped. We're fully capped, boys and girls, all right? Capped. Yeah, there it is, 12% movement speed. Now, talking about the gear, very, very importantly, is what you want to focus on with this type of build is try and have strength and vitality in most of your gear, all right? That's pretty much what you want to focus on. Critical hit damage, critical hit chance, doesn't mean anything to us. We don't need it because Thorns damage cannot crit, all right? So Thorns damage can't crit no matter what. If you didn't know that, you do now. So don't stress about critical hit damage or critical hit chance for this. But what you do want is, you can see in the secondary skills there that I've actually enchanted Thorns damage. So wherever possible, make sure that you throw in Thorns damage. Wherever you can, Thorns damage. Okay, now you can see that I don't have Thorns damage in every piece of gear, but wherever I have been able to roll it in secondary, you can see secondary there, I got plus Thorns damage in the secondary down below. Alright, so not the primary skills, secondary. And I've done that pretty much for wherever I could possibly do it, but the most important part is the Topaz Gem. Level 1 up as high as you can. Definitely Flawless Royal is going to be awesome. A fully leveled up gem, but depending on how early on you're playing, you may not be able to craft one of the higher end gems just yet, but craft a gem as high as possible, and that increases Thorns damage so damn much. It's 38,000 Thorns damage just there, but when I start talking about the passives, you're going to see that it actually multiplies with our passive skills as well. And that's it. Nice and basic for the gear, and you want to definitely have gems wherever possible as well, including the rings and the shield. Make sure you have gem slots I'm going to explain why in a second with our finery passive skill. So gem slots will definitely increase our thorns damage as well. So make sure we're going for strength, vitality if possible, thorns damage wherever you possibly can for the secondary skills. Make sure you enchant them, and then definitely have gem slots wherever you possibly can. My pants here, I could have had 2 gem slots, so make sure you go 2 pants, 3 chest, 1 for your helm, 1 for your amulet, and 1 for each ring, and then your weapons, 1 each as well. So shield, definitely have a gem in there as well. So once you're sorted out with all of your gem slots and you've got thorns damage wherever possible and the all-important topaz gem in your weapon, we're going to talk about skills. Let's have a look. We're using Punish with Celerity, Consecration with Bed of Nails. This is one of the primary damage dealers. So when you use Consecrate, the ground becomes covered in nails, dealing all of our thorns damage every second. So all of that plus thorns damage in our secondary, plus the topaz gem, multiplies every second and deals all of that damage at once on the floor in that consecrated area. Steed Charge with Spiked Barding. This is for our mobility tool and for speed increasing, just to run through Nephilim Rifts or whatever you may be doing a lot quicker. Iron Skin with Reflective Skin. So when this is active, our attackers will take extra thorns damage. Again, multiplying all of that lovely juicy thorns damage we have in our gear and the topaz gem. Bombardment, Barrels of Spikes. Again, this goes hand in hand with our thorns damage. So the bombardment that actually comes down and deals damage actually is increased by our thorns damage. And we've got plenty of thorns damage in our gear and our gem there. Accurate's Champion with Profit. You definitely want to use this whenever you come across elite packs and maybe dense packs. If you're taking a lot of damage, it's definitely handy for survivability and also does some extra damage. Passives, super important. Iron Maiden. Thorns is increased by 50%. So all of those stats that you saw in our gear and from your topaz gem, multiply that by 50% and that's the thorns damage that you get. So we got plenty there, so much. We're using Hold Your Ground, Fervor, and Finery, which you gain 1.5 strength for every gem socketed into your gear, which is why I said it's so important to have gems wherever possible. Now on the pants there, I'm missing 1 gem slot, but other than that, I've got gem slots everywhere else where you possibly can. So you want to make sure you have 2 for your pants. But either way, you saw my video there. We definitely had no issues with damage or survivability. We're smashing through this. It's a super OP build. And like I said, if you pick up legendaries along the way or set items and they suit you, definitely slot them in there, but keep focusing on that thorns damage until you have your 4 pieces of Archons. That way it'll definitely fit in well with your thorns build, and then you can do your GR20 and progress further in the season journey and then get your full set of Archons, and then you can be on your way to that awesome Condemn build. Well on your way. Now, Canoi's Cube here, let's open it up and have a look. There's nothing there. So in case someone thought, oh, this guy's cheating, he's got something in Canoi's Cube. I did this build before I even had any legendary items to possibly disenchant and put it in the Canoi's Cube to extract that legendary power. Couldn't extract any powers, and I saved my build that way, so there's nothing there. Nothing in Canoi's Cube. Like I mentioned with Paragon points, I've reset them all. What you want to do if you're leveling up and if you're a little bit further into the game than just your basic 70 with no Paragon points is make sure that first of all you get your movement speed cap at 25% like I've already mentioned. So I'm capped now with 12% in my gear, 13% here, and then you want to dump everything else into strength. With your offensive, you want to go cooldown reduction first. Like I mentioned, you can't crit with Thorns, so there's no point dumping any points into critical hit chance or critical hit damage. There's no point. Cooldown reduction first, then you can probably go attack speed and then start pumping points into critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Unless you transition to your Condemn build, then you can have a look at critical hit chance, critical hit damage. But unless you've already transitioned into your Condemn build, which is a different story, and I'll be doing a video on that real soon because I'm a Condemn Crusader this season, Season 14, and I'm absolutely loving it. Addicted to the game once again. Now, moving on. Defensive. You definitely want to go into resist all first, dump your points in there, then armor, and then life regen in that order. Utility, you want to go life per hit to make sure that we're surviving. But as you saw in my example video, we have no issues surviving. We're killing it. So if you have no issues surviving, you can go into area damage and then resource cost reduction. But I usually pump them into life per hit first and then leave gold find for last. It's the least important. And that is pretty much everything covered to get you Crusaders started. Make sure that once you get your 4 pieces of Archon, focus on your Thorns damage and you'll definitely get that GR20 achievement. You'll have your full Archon set and then you can start working towards the Condemn build, which I'll be talking about in the next few days. I'm currently working hard on my Condemn Crusader in Season 14. It's an absolute joy to play. I'm loving it. And I cannot wait to share this overpowered build with everybody and explain how the Condemned Crusader works. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing and keep coming back to visit your creepy damn uncle. Bannock 13.